Protests against the reform which lifts the retirement age by 2 years to 64 have drawn crowds of hundreds of thousands in rallies organized by unions since January and at times turned violent.
I'm here to protest against the reform pension, especially the 64 years old. It's not acceptable. I'm a caregiver. We cannot work until 64 with the people we accompany every day. We will be the same age at one point. So it's not possible physically and psychologically. And I'm also here for the young people. I have children, and I think they're allowed to have a fair, decent pension and to enjoy life after as well.
Thousands are marching in the streets of Rennes in western France and Calais in the north, with protesters chanting and holding signs to ask the government to withdraw its reform. Some clashes between police and protesters erupted in Rennes, with projectiles being thrown at police, who responded with tear gas.
In general, the movement is peaceful, but each time there is extreme police violence against the people on the streets. We should not forget that among the protesters, there are children, young people, and there are also elderly people who come to support the movement as well. So for me, it's not acceptable. And regarding what happened in Saint-Solin, regarding the water reservoirs, we have the impression that the government is at war against its people, and this is unacceptable.
Labour groups vowed to dig in their heels after talks with the Prime Minister, which lasted just an hour, failed to calm the situation. They said the only way out of the crisis was for the legislation to be pulled, an option which was flatly rejected. Thursday's marches, the 11th day of nationwide protests in the past 3 months, could provide an indication of whether the drawn-out rallies are losing steam or gaining momentum. The previous day of demonstrations on March the 28th drew smaller crowds, according to the Interior Ministry, with 740,000 people protesting across the country, compared with a record 1.28 seen on March the 7th. Polls show a wide majority of French oppose the pension legislation and the government's decision to push it through Parliament without a vote, using the controversial 49-3 constitutional clause. Beryl Oro, CGTN.